Next, I'm going to show you how to migrate and how to add compose views and compose UIs as part of a fragment. Here in this application, I have a simple fragment that allows me to delete existing messages from the database. For example, I want to delete this first message. I can line press on that message, and then this dialog is displayed to me. This dialog is defined as a dialog fragment, so its definition is a fragment. Therefore, we can migrate parts of it or all of it to Jetpack Compose. First, let's see how it works without the Compose and without Compose, and later we are going to upgrade it to Jetpack Compose. To delete an item, I can press yes and it is removed from the database, or I can press cancel to dismiss the dialog. So first I go as before to the definition of that dialog. It is my dialog. It's got a layout file for the fragment, and you can see the different components that make that dialog, like the text views and the buttons that we have. And I'm going to change the existing text view as just example. The existing text view to a composed text. So as before, I copy the definition of this text view, then I comment it out, and I replace it with Composeview, like this. Let's hold everything that is relevant to Composeview and omit others, like ID is good and the constraint definitions must be retained. Let's remove the padding and style because these are not defined for Composeview. And also I want to upgrade this text view, the message to be displayed. Item text, it's got the ID of item text. I'm gonna copy the whole text view, then comment it out and replace it with Composeview. Let's delete the tag name text view and replace it with Composeview. Let's keep everything that is relevant. Padding is not, text is not, max lines and ellipse size also are not, and the constraints are retained. Now let's go to our code to make required changes inside the definition of my dialog class, our fragment class. And as you can see, as you know, the fragment UI is constructed inside onCreateView. So that's where we need to make our changes and apply our Compose UI. First of all, you can see that it is setting the text of its text view, dialog text, using the input text like this. But we don't have the text attribute anymore, so I comment this out. And because we started migrating from our, what was the ID for that? Alert text. Because we started with that, I'm going to create that first. So I say m binding dot alert text dot set content, and this is where the view composition strategy matters. Because we are inside a fragment, we need to use a special view composition strategy. Set view I need to use apply here and then set view composition strategy, view composition strategy, and a special view composition strategy that is called dispose on view tree lifecycle owner destroyed. Yes. Dispose on view tree lifecycle destroyed. And once we set the composition strategy, we set its content, we create its content. And for the text, I use a text composable. Let's import text from Jetpack Compose, material library, and string resource. To access the string resource for the message to be displayed here, are you sure you want to delete this message? Are you sure you want to remove this item? And see what other attributes it used to have so that we can replicate. Like padding, it had a padding of default padding. Let's add that using a modifier. Import modifier, and then padding, dimension resource. I use the dimension resource composable to load the dimension resource that I had. r.dimen.default padding. All right, that's it. Now we are done with the definition and with the content setting of our alert text composable, our alert text compose view. We basically replaced it with a composable that sets its content. Next, we are dealing with the body text, with the text of the message, and it's called dialog text. So m binding dot dialog text, again apply, set view composition strategy, and view composition strategy, dispose on view tree lifecycle destroyed. Make sure you are using this view composition strategy inside fragments. Then create its content using composables, and again I'm gonna use a text composable because this was a text view and it's best to be replaced with a text composable. And to set the content of the text, we are supposed to receive that text here you can see the definition of mtext, and it is received when the dialog fragment is constructed. You can check out the definition of set arguments, that is initializing, and it is giving values to mtext. Set arguments, it is receiving a bundle from the creating activity and extracts this extra message and passes it to mtext. So we are sure that we have a value in mtext. We only need to use it. So mtext, I use mtext inside the text composable, and let's replicate other properties of the edit text of the text view, like padding, max lines, and ellipse size. So first modifier padding. Yes, it's using default padding. So dimension resource r.dimen.default padding. Other parameters like max lines, these are defined as parameters for text composable. So max lines was 1. I'm going to replicate that here. And then we had ellipse size. So you can see that there's no parameter called ellipse size. However, we have another parameter that deals with ellipse size, that is called overflow. Text overflow dot ellipsis. This basically does what that ellipse size attribute did for the text view tag that we had inside the layout of this fragment. Alright, that's it. We simply upgraded these two text views that we had in our fragment to compose views and to compose UIs. Now let's run our application to see if it is working. Let's select an item with line press. You can see that we have that alert message, are you sure you want to remove this item? And also we have the content of that message displayed here with an ellipsis at the end of the message and with a max line of 1. So it is working, and we were successful in replicating our Android view in Jetpack Compose. You can see. Let's remove one of the messages when adding Composeview. Yes, that's it. So what I did, I replaced two of the view components of this alert dialog with compose views. So in the second part of this video, you learned how you can migrate parts of a fragment to Jetpack Compose. In this fragment, we were able to migrate this text view and this text view to Jetpack Compose. Now, as an exercise, I want you to migrate the whole screen of the fragment, the whole content of the fragment to Jetpack Compose. You can do that one by one, or you can do the whole screen once, because this screen is simple and you can simply do it. Note that you need to deal with the callbacks with the click events for these buttons as well. You need to dismiss the dialog when the cancel is clicked, and you need to call a callback that notifies the calling activity to remove the requested item when the yes is clicked, and then dismiss the dialog. So that's basically how you migrate an existing Android View application to Jetpack Compose, one component at a time or one screen at a time. If you are creating a new Compose application, you don't need to worry about creating Compose views and Compose UIs inside Android views, because you are designing all your screens using Compose and using Jetpack Compose UI and composables. But if you have an existing Android view that you want to migrate to Jetpack Compose, you can follow the instructions that I gave in this video. So I hope that you liked it, and I see you in the next video.